Hello, everybody, and welcome back to A Better Life.
There we go.
Not really A Better Life. It's the wrong podcast. I apologize, everybody. Welcome back to Sports Live with Steve and Justin. How are you, Justin?
I'm freezing. How are you?
Yeah, I was. Yes, last night I drove my girlfriend home, went to her house, and then on the way I was like freezing. Should have put the boxes away from the Christmas tree, some crap like that. And I'm like freezing my tail off outside. So, what are you gonna do?
Tis the season.
Tis the season. It absolutely is. But since the season is last week, we knocked it out of the park. We had almost 12, over 11,000, almost 12,000 views. We gained subscribers. I had more comments than ever. I hope you people out there are back to listen to another episode, back because you heard this episode. I have a friend who is a Michigan guy. Him and his friends are all Michigan guys. They all listened to the podcast, thought it was great, thought we were naturals. But I knew that. But it really substance. So I'd like to thank everybody. I did a little. We spent a lot of hours with these podcasts. We put in a lot of time. We try to be as professional as can be, and in honor of that, I have a little video that I made of our podcast to celebrate our professionalism and how good we are at this. A little 2025 rewind. You want to see it again? It's good.
Fantastic.
Right? I'll play it again. Wait. How good is that?
That is great.
I have another one. You want to see it now? Or do you want me to save it? I got the word we said more than any other word. Wait.
Baseball.
For baseball.
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 Baseball. That's great. It's wholesome.
Having said that, we should know baseball's only around the corner. We're getting to coming up on January 1st. You're 2 months from pitchers and catchers, right? They're February 28th.
Right around the corner.
Something like that. And so we're going to be talking about baseball soon.
Go from Super Bowl to baseball.
We obviously cursed a lot about baseball because I know we had nothing nice to say about baseball the whole time we spoke about it. And that was like in the beginning time before we started talking about the NFL, before we were just warming up on our first few episodes. We hadn't got down to Monday at 5:00 every day.
It's pretty cool.
But anyway, the wonders of AI, right?
Yeah.
It goes through. You type in something, it goes through, and it does it.
Fantastic. Worth every penny.
Yeah, you should see the other one because on A Better Life podcast, we did a couple episodes on David Berkowitz and Son of Sam, and it's an entire 2 minutes of the guest I had on. I won't mention his name. Just going Berkowitz. It's hysterical. It's actually, I'll send it to you. I don't want to play it here, but there's so many. It's hysterical. So thank you. There's actually one that I didn't download. I'm working to play. It's just one of me coughing the entire.
Did you see the? Did I send you the video from Michael Francis sit down with?
No,
Berkowitz?
You sent me the video. I didn't really watch it.
Yeah, we should all watch that together. It's got to be interesting. He beat us to the punch.
Yes, he did. But anyway, so football was interesting this week. The NFL was interesting.
The NFL was interesting for sure. I think we saw some upsets, some teams stepping forward, some players making huge leaps forward.
Miraculous comebacks. Thursday night. And I said, I was at a party and the guys were watching. They go, "Why are we watching this game still? It's over."
Mm,
And I said, "There's no question this team can't come back." It's exactly what I said. And then 2 minutes
two
after I
minutes
said
later.
it, I said to everybody, whenever I say that, and it's exactly what happened. Next thing you know, he threw the pass, touchdown, ran back. So,
Unreal. Absolutely. I was at the bar, so I kept looking up and I saw it was a what was it, a 16-point game?
right.
And I was like, oh, this is over. And I was too busy to focus on the game. Luckily for me, I guess. And then I look up and I see it's a 2-point game, and I'm like, what just that? What did I miss? And then I see the 2-point play, and I'm like, is that? I guess it's incomplete. And I see the was it Charbonnet?
Oh, the off
Or
the helmet play.
of course it's a Michigan guy, goes over and picks up the football, and he's standing in the end zone. I'm like, was that a backwards pass? Does he think it was a fumble? Like, what just happened? And then I get busy, and I'm running back and forth, and I look up just in time for them after I don't know how long it took for them to make the decision on that. That was outrageous, unbelievable.
It was right though, don't you think?
Oh yeah, no. When I saw it, I it was a quick glance at the play, and I was like, oh, that because the defender almost caught it on the fly, and I thought, oh, that would have been game over.
So
And
for
then
anybody that maybe didn't see it, know what we're talking about. It was Thursday night game, which was Rams in Seattle,
Rams in Seattle,
and on a 2 point play,
huge game by the way. Thursday
huge
night
game,
football was probably
huge,
might have been the biggest game of the year.
may have been the biggest game of the year, and it was very entertaining. And and there was a 2 point play, and the screen pass ended up, sometimes it happens. It goes backwards. Nobody intends to throw a backward pass, right? But as we know, a backward pass is a live ball. Well, not only was it
Or a
backwards,
lateral.
or a lateral, and it banged off of somebody's helmet and
The
went
defender.
flying. Right, the defender's helmet and went flying. And you think in normal that's just nothing. Well, it lands and he ends up in the end zone or right before the end zone. Somebody picks it up and they win the 2 point conversion.
That was unbelievable. And the defender is he sniffed out the play and is attacking the would-be carrier or the receiver that on that, trying to bust through the screen and blow up the play.
Right.
But without looking at the football, he actually blew up the play. I think it hit him in the helmet.
And it's
So-
and it's a dead giveaway when nobody blows a whistle. There's something you're missing, right? Because
it's the
the
first
whistle's
thing they
used-
teach you in
Right.
when you get to high school. Play until the whistle blows. Short of cheap shots and all that, but if that ball's rolling around, you get on the football, whether you think the
Absolutely.
play is dead or not. If you don't hear a whistle, get the football. So great play by them, and then I couldn't stop to listen to it, and I still haven't seen it with the sound on because I've been watching too many things and there was just too much going on this weekend. But I never heard or saw a tweet or anything that indicated they blew a whistle because I was wondering, like, everybody just kind of stopped moving, and it was just matter of fact that he picked up the football.
Right.
Because obviously, if if the whistle blows that incorrectly, that's a dead ball. So an incredible gift for Seattle, and I didn't feel comfortable with the Rams playing on a short week because they're probably the most traveled team in the NFL this year. They've been everywhere. Devontae Adams was hurt, so he was out, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, you know what? Seattle can't run the football. They don't really have a great running game. Maybe, Sam Darnold came back to earth, and, the Rams still should win this game. And I look up and see they're up by 2 touchdowns, really, 3 scores by the old rules, but they're up by 16 points. And I'm like, oh, they're going to run away with this. And then 5 minutes later, I look up and I'm like, what just happened? incredible win for Seattle, incredible win for Sam Darnold.
And it made such a difference.
Huge.
And first of all, it put an end, I hope, to all the Sam Darnold detractors out there who said he always folds up at the end of the year. He's going to fold at the end of the game. He's never in a game. This kid played.
He went out there and slung it.
He went out there and did it. And you can't say a word about how he played. Matter of
Jet
fact,
fans sitting at the bar were not happy.
Really?
I mean, they were happy for him. They were just more dejected about their own situation. They were just,
They should be dejected about the situation.
Yeah.
I mean, people called me up today because we were going to talk tonight and said, "Did you see that Giant game?" And I'm like, no, I don't watch the Giants and Jets anymore. I mean, let them, when they come back to the table with actually trying to win and not just saying, we make a lot of money, when they really come back and try to win football games, I'm in. I mean, they're going to get this kid killed. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. They should just
don't know what
the rest
they're
of the
doing.
league, forfeit the rest of the games, and take the thing. I mean, it's insane.
It's really sad when you get to a point where you, as a fan, you'd rather just see them forfeit the games than even watch them play. And that's kind of where they're both at this point, because there's nothing worth watching on television, which is really sad considering it's the New York market. I mean, the Jets have been football ineptitude forever and fairly irrelevant most of my life. But to see them at this level not have the capacity to even go out there and compete. And I know there's injuries and they don't have a quarterback and they don't have it, but everybody else seems to look at the team they played. They didn't have a quarterback. That guy's a quarterback. They made him look like, Wyatt Tittle out there.
Agreed.
So it's really unfortunate to see that. And I think that's a league epidemic thing because of the way, we always talk about parity and things like that. And rosters are not complete. And, you need to spend money to have, players on the roster from 1 to 53, not just 1 through 22 or 24. I know there are, I keep saying there's some positive undertow with the Jets, like their offensive line playing together all year. We know that they have a number one wide receiver. We know that they have a number one stud running back. In fact, I think they have two good running backs. They seem to have talent where they need it at these positions if they're healthy. They just don't have a quarterback. And then defensively, they look putrid. I mean, there's 3 or 4 warm bodies at best on that defense.
Forget it. Just forget it.
Yeah.
Okay? So here it is. Here's what I have to say about the Jets. You know what? I'll start. I'd love to watch them. I would love to watch the Jets. This is what you need to do, guys. You want fans that just don't blindly love you? You want to make them happy? This is what you need to do. You got a couple of draft picks. You got to bring some people in the organization that's not a blow smoke up your ass guys that all sit around and hang out with the billionaire that owns the place. And just because he wears a cap that says Jets on it, and just because he owns the team, it doesn't make a difference to me. To me, he just looks like a fool. All right?
I agree.
He's the emperor's new clothes. Walking around saying, "Hey, look at me," and he's naked. He's naked to all of us because we see it. We see it again and again. You want to do something, get people in there that know what they're doing. Get their people in there that know how to run the team and make some draft picks that we say, hey, these guys are here to play. They made some good guys. They're going to be able to grow them. I need a couple of guys on defense. I'm not saying you need Lawrence Taylor. I'm saying you need a couple of guys, though it wouldn't hurt. A couple of guys on defense, and you gotta get a quarterback, and you gotta keep them healthy, and you gotta play smart.
Yeah, I mean they played their way out of getting Trevor Lawrence 5-6 years ago, whatever it was, and I think now we've seen what it takes. I always talk about quarterbacks evolving and getting better every week and something to hang your hat on. And I know Trevor Lawrence was under some serious criticism coming into this season, but it seems now, I mean, Jaguars are what? At the top of the division. He looks like he's turned the corner and he is everything they thought that he could be and getting better. And that probably is the biggest thing if you're a Jets fan, looking at him, Sam Darnold, and think, why can't we cultivate a quarterback? Why can't we find somebody in the draft and bring him along and give him 4 or 5 years to get there? And with the Jets, it's just the same old Jets. It's Mark Sanchez. It's the next big draft pick. Maybe they get a free agent. They bring in the kid from Chicago, and then they get another. They get Zach Wilson. They get it's
a joke.
It's a constant recycling of the same old crap every 3 to 4 years with the Jets. And I'm not saying that Sam Darnold would have had that success in New York. I thought it was unfair that they could have given him another year, and who knows where it would have went. But they just don't have it together. They just don't have a formula for success. And no one in that building, and it starts with the owner, just like you said,
absolutely
has a freaking clue how to do this.
Knee-jerk reaction to everything. The media doesn't like this, let's fix it. Let's do something else. Let's jump around. And media is never going to help you. Your fans aren't going to help you.
It's the same old story every 3 or 4 years for the last 25 years. It's just a constant, we got,
disgrace. The NFL should take the team away from him. Hey, give him his money back. Here's your money. You made a profit. Go ahead. Go away.
Yep. Go away.
Back, go be an ambassador to Bulgaria. I know they want you.
Yeah, go be an ambassador and get the hell out of here. The Giants, anyway. Not much better, and I'm not going to, I think John Mara is a much better owner.
I was going to say
probably a much better person than Woody. But the Giants right now
I don't want to say anything about Woody personally. I don't know the guy. I have no idea. I know he's rich, and I know a lot of people with billions of dollars, strangely enough, and I don't want to lump him into anything. He could be the nicest guy in the world, be a personal guy, he can help the world. I'm just telling you, if you want to run a football team, it's easy. Hire people that know how to do it, and they can teach you too. I don't know how to tell you this. You know the Tony Robbins thing? You ever seen Tony Robbins? Go out there and buy his tapes. Let me tell you, please, Woody, please go out and buy his tapes, Woody, and say and watch it to him. And you know what they say? You know how you get to learn to do something? You find people that are already doing that and learn from them.
Learn from them.
That's how NFL works. People learn from each other. Look at the coach. And you want a good example? Look at the coach in New England. Look at the coaches in LA. Look at the coaches in all over. Good coaches learn to other coaches and have heart and willness and are tough. You got to be tough. It's the NFL. I don't care. You can't be a nice guy in the NFL.
They have owners that don't meddle. They have owners that let football people do the football stuff. It's that simple. But they can't even. They own a football team and they don't know how to hire a general manager. They had to go out to a third-party organization and ask them who they should hire to run their program. That's a problem.
Who was never successful.
Never.
The people they hired were never successful. What is that?
It's what I say, so Jets. It's just so Jets. That's the best way to describe it. It's ineptitude. It's just complete and total ineptitude from the top down.
You know, you can say what you want about Steinbrenner. He always took the heat. He did what he thought he had to do. He hired people he thought had, and he always take the heat. These guys don't want to take the heat. As soon as they start getting some heat, they fire the guy. I can't get over I'll never get over, and I'm not saying he's the greatest coach in the world, that he fired the coach after that loss in England because
Oh.
him and his billionaire buddies were sitting around watching the game, and he was former ambassador there and whatever. And next thing you know, he fires the guy because he was mad. Wah, 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 we lost.
Crybaby.
We lost in front of my friends. They folded up. Well, it's football. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Yeah, it's
Sometimes
always a bad optic with the Jets. It's just when they do something good, they do something else to topple it and
so
twice as bad.
But what we knew about, and there were probably 3 teams, at least I know, we brought up and talked about that we knew were horrible, right? The Jets, the Giants, Arizona. We talked about that guy's never going to get it together. He never seems to play. They never play well. They were done a long time ago too. I'll tell you my surprise to the team that's really folded up. Actually, there are 2. One's actually doing well, and one's doing kind of well, but I don't think they have it. And the one is, and it goes to, it is the biggest surprise to me. The biggest surprise, and that's Baltimore.
They go as their quarterback goes, and he got hurt again this week.
I know, but he's not really saying the right things. He's not
No.
really,
The coach or the quarterback?
the quarterback.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll never say anything. Listen, do I think the coach is a little out of step at what's going on there? I do think that. Do I think he's one of the best coaches in the league? I think that too. I think any team would take him. Do I think situations
100%.
finally get to themselves? Does it always happen that you become out of step with your team and you need a clean slate? Yeah, it does happen. But I'm not saying that's what happened here. I think their quarterback has really just lost his focus. And I think there's other places in the league where that's happened.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
think there has.
he did get a huge contract, so
He
that
did.
might be part of it.
I don't know. It's like, did you see the interview with Tony Dungy?
No, I did not.
So he didn't even take his helmet off. And he whispered to him, "This is Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy's trying to get to John Madden status in as interviewers out there and stuff. I mean, Tony Dungy, who took a team and won a Super Bowl himself, right?
Yep.
Who left a team to John Gruden to win one too, right? Or
No, that was Tony Dungy won in Indianapolis.
yeah, but then he went to Tampa Bay and was building that team, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So here's a guy. Here's a guy, and he's known as like the statesman, almost the religious guy, the high road. Truth is everything. Sports are important, but who you are as a man is more important. And here comes this guy. He's talking to him with his helmet on. I don't know. There's something wrong there. There's
That's
something
incredible
wrong
that
there.
he's got a lack of something.
We all get hurt, right? We get hurt in life.
Yeah.
You get hurt in football. Things happen. It's how you deal with it that makes you are as a man and as a player. And you need to do that.
Sure.
And there's something going on there.
I think the coach is going to have to figure that out because, now that they've got him under contract long term, that's a huge contract. I don't know that you see something like that coming. They went all in.
Right. I think you say to yourself, I hope it's not coming. But as Jim said last week, they're great players, but those guys that run, they can't run forever. They get the big contracts when they turn 30. His words. I was thinking about it all week.
Yeah.
They get those big contracts when they turn 30, and then what happens?
Yeah, I mean, so Lamar's 28, and he's already, He's had some injuries here. Obviously, with a quarterback of that talent, he uses his legs a lot. That's what makes him exciting. Um, it's what has given him the ability to have success in this league. This year is pretty much a wash for them. I don't know that if he was 100% healthy, things would be much different, but because their defense is just not good. And maybe there's some internal strife in the organization, or maybe there's something going on that is lingering mentally for them. And they're just, not able to put it together, and he's not able to be himself. Incredible talent. You hate to see anything, happen to him going down that road if it's just a lack of focus, or he doesn't want to play football or whatever. I'm not saying it is, because they were talking about that last week with Joe Burrow. Ironically, two quarterbacks in the same division. But
I think, Jeff asks, do you think Harbaugh's running? This is what we're beating around the bush at, and he's being direct about it. Do you think Harbaugh's run his course there, does he need to move on? I think the easy answer to that question, I'll let you finish. The easy answer to that question is to say yes, he needs to move on. But the second part of the question you can't answer. Who the hell are you going to get to stand in there? Who's better than Harbaugh to be? Now he may need to sit back and think about his changing team and to face things differently. But who's going to be better at it than him? Who are you getting? Who are you getting? Some young kid that you don't even know? Well, you know what? We know there's a lot of young kids out there that are doing real well. But we also know there's a lot of young kids out there that fell on their face. Right? So anything, but I'll let you finish. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to get his question
to replace Harbaugh, it's hard. I mean, he's a legend. He's won a Super Bowl. I don't know that you can just say at this point, because to me, he's married to Lamar Jackson, right? I think that was probably why it took so long to negotiate the contract, because I think the team realized, well, if we don't sign Lamar long term, do we have to go get another coach? And the coach wanted him. If the coach didn't want him, they would have let him sign somewhere else. And they did give him a lot of money. Whether or not he sells, jerseys or enough jerseys or whatever, that's not what factors there, right? This is a football player that the coach changed his entire philosophy for, because they moved up in the draft to get him. And it's hard to fathom that he was the fifth quarterback taken in that draft with all that talent. And they basically ran to the podium to get him. So they're locked in together. Now, does that mean that, Harbaugh is not the right guy after all this time coaching him? Maybe. Maybe he needs to go back to, a more ground and pound offense with a pocket passer and build his defense, but that's not going to happen here right now because they're locked into this contract. So, yes, could you justify firing him or moving on and getting a new coach to come in here and fix, quote unquote, Lamar? Okay, sure, but like you said, who's it going to be? And there'll be a line of teams ready to hire Jim Harbaugh tomorrow.
Oh my God! And you look at it this way. It's got to be, I think the real answer is you maybe need a different offensive coordinator or a different quarterbacks coach, somebody that you can work with Lamar a little bit better to get him back into the mindset he needs to be in to play like he's going to play. I think that Harbaugh is a very good coach, and he's a great coach. I mean, he's already won a Super Bowl, right? So, I mean, but that team he played with had the greatest defense probably we ever saw. You talk about the 85 Bears, but, it's a toss-up to me between those two defenses.
Well, he wasn't there for the 2000 Ravens defense, but that they still had Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, and that was an incredible defense in 2009, I think that was.
Right.
Was it 2000? Was that long ago? 2011? It was. Wow, that was a long while ago. I got to look that up because I don't think I'm right. But
I don't think you're right either.
yeah,
So let's look at that too. So in the meantime, I'll just say a little about this. So we'll come back to the Ravens in a minute. The other team, talk about total destruction, is Miami.
ugh.
They have every player is unhappy. The coach is talking in parables.
He's such a weird dude.
You don't know what's going on there. And you got to say this. I feel bad, Tua. His contract's up, right? He's got a year left, or it's totally up. I don't know which one it is. I don't think anybody's giving him a contract.
I, from the bottom of my heart, hope he does not get a contract because I fear for his life.
I agree with you.
And
It's exactly the way I feel about it.
I know that, the athlete in me disagrees with that, what little athletic ability I had, because you want to go out and fight and play and win, and it's what you do and it's what you love. But
Right.
he's got to come to the realization that it's time to hang it up just for his health alone. Doesn't mean I don't think that he can get better and maybe play one day and lead a team to victory, but there's a lot of stacked against him, and I know that that's part of what makes him who he is people telling him no, and he fights through it and all that. But you don't want to see the young man, get hurt. And considering how bad it looked on the field when he got hurt the last couple of times, it was mind-boggling to me that they allowed him to go out there, because as a coach, that's a different injury than something that's
So
physically hurting him.
Here's his
Scary.
contract. I don't feel bad for him at all. He risked his life. He's got to walk away.
Yeah.
He had a 4-year, $212 million contract extension with Miami in 24, averaging $53 million annually, which $167 million guaranteed through 2028.
That's incredible.
So let's be honest. Let's hope he saved his money, because he shouldn't be he shouldn't be playing. I mean, 2026 he gets $54 million fully guaranteed with an option bonus through March of 26, plus $3 million in of 2027 salary, totaling $57 million if he's on the roster.
Wow.
And I bet she's not. So, pre-June 1st release of 2026, it would cost the Dolphins $99 million in dead cap. So, I don't
So
know
they're gonna roll him out there. They're just gonna keep rolling him out there.
I don't think they are. I think they're going to bench him.
Huh. They'll be the backup.
I think they have to bench him.
Yeah.
I said, because if they roll him out there, he's going to try to make him. He's going to try to go get a new contract, and he's going to get killed.
Yeah.
I mean,
For his own benefit. They have to move on. This era is for them it's not working. Nobody these quarterbacks
is going to hire him.
No,
They all like all of us. We don't watch the games because we think he's going to get killed.
well, yeah, I certainly don't want to see it. When he plays, I cringe, because after seeing him collapse the last time, I just was like, this guy's got to give it up. You got to. I mean, no one is going to question your toughness.
It was like 2 weeks in a row, right?
Yeah,
The hits.
and you have to question your mental state at that point. Not the injury. Just, are you smart enough to look? If Jim Brown could walk away at 29, it shouldn't be too hard for Tua to walk away and take his money and go elsewhere. because I'm sure he can get a job coaching or mentoring or whatever it is he wants to do. This is not worth it, in my opinion. Um, but for his own sake, maybe the organization does need to step in and just say he's going on the bench, and that's that. Move on and find another coach, another quarterback, and it is what it is.
Right.
You know,
Jeff
Ravens
made
won the Super Bowl in 2013. By the way, I
so.
was wrong.
And when was Harbaugh there?
He was there for that.
Yeah,
It was
that's what
what's
I
the
thought.
guy's name in 2000 was Bill. Like, why can't I remember his name? The
That's right.
first coach, but yeah, it was
So
Harbaugh.
Jeff just said he's surprised that the NFL doesn't step in and
Brian
say he
Billick.
can't play, and because the liability for them is too high. He's absolutely right, Jeff. I mean, the NFL should say to themselves, if we don't stop this kid, he's going to kill himself. And don't think they're not in the ear of the owner saying, just let it run its course, just let him go, and everybody don't hire him. You know,
I yeah. I mean, I agree.
just tell the
Although the NFL,
doctors.
it's weird, right? The NFL always avoids anything concussion related. So if they step in and say that he has to, like, I don't think they can say it publicly.
Absolutely not. They do
Yeah.
what they always do. They it's a hint in the law. We say nod, nod, wink, wink. All
Right.
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 So everybody knows what they're gonna do. Nod, nod, wink, wink. Okay. I'm not gonna say anything. You're not gonna say anything. You're gonna say what you're supposed to say, and everybody walks away happy.
Yeah.
Right. And that's exactly should and in this case, believe me, they're gonna tell the doctors, listen, you can clear him. But just be know if he doesn't clear, if he clears and he goes and plays and he gets hurt, it's going to be on you,
Yeah. I mean, that's
and that'll be it.
that'll be a big can work. Yeah.
No
I mean,
doctor will certify him.
no. Yeah. Yeah. You'll never get a job in this league again. That.
Exactly.
Um.
Exactly.
Yeah, they've got to move on. They've got to find a way. The league needs them to move on too, because it's just an ugly situation. And this is something the league, not the concussion part of it, but this is something the league created with, how they've changed the rules and built these teams and made things. Look, a guy like Tua, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, he's not getting drafted to play quarterback in the NFL. Kyler Murray, right? The only guy, what was it? Drew Brees was 6'2", 6'3", whatever. Brady talked about it on that show last week about
Yeah,
how
I
the
saw that.
size and height of these quarterbacks matter because they need to be able to see over the offensive line, and their release point has to be high enough for them to complete these passes over the middle. Can he make sideline throws? Of course. But then when your whole offense is based or predicated off him throwing the ball outside the tackles, and either he can't go downfield or he can't go over the middle, that's a third of your offensive passing game plan that is non-existent. And you're not going to fool defenses that know that. So, you see it. I never want to say anybody doesn't have the ability based on their physical whatever, but this is the NFL, and you expect to see quarterbacks that are tall. And we used to be they would draft somebody, 6'10", 6'6". He's huge and has a big arm. We'll work with that. Well, he was too slow, or he couldn't release the ball, or whatever. There's other factors, but you know, this is something that the league has to look at. Teams have to look at, and you know, offensive linemen aren't getting smaller; they're getting bigger. So,
Yeah, and the other thing is this, and actually, this is another. Jeff just brought this point up too. Mooney Warden's in the same boat. He's got 3 concussions in less than 4 months.
this is
And
who?
that Mooney Ward, he's one of the fill-in quarterbacks or whatever. For who does he play for, Jeff?
Is he talking about Cam Ward?
Maybe he is. Colts. That's the backup quarterback.
Um,
Right? Because Daniel Jones is out.
Daniel Jones is out.
And
Right.
let's not forget, there has been some vicious over the last couple of weeks, if not 1 week, helmet to helmet hits.
I
have
you
to
know
say,
how I feel about that.
right? And I have to say again that players need to get suspended for helmet to helmet at least one game, automatic, and fine too, but automatic one game. They come out of the game where they are, and then one other game. If it happens in the end of the game, they still get the extra game. But you see these hits.
I disagree.
Well, they need to. You listen.
I understand what you mean, but
helmet to helmet hits on quarterbacks and things. Listen, we know when it's meant to be a helmet to helmet, and we know it's like pornography. What the Supreme Court justice said. We know it when we see it. I can't tell you what it is, but we know when we see it.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah, but
it's subjective through these referees.
Oh, well, the referees suck, but that's another story. But we need that, so we can't just let it go on. Somebody's got to be out there saying, "Well, the guy, the offensive tackle knocked him into him, and he hit him in the helmet." That's a different story. I'm talking about, and it was on one of the quarterbacks. I forget which one it was. This guy came wailing in, put his head down, and hit him in the helmet, and knocked him out of the game.
I don't know that it's any different than putting your head down and knocking him in the spine when you have the quarterback dead to rights and you're going for that sack. This is football, and I that is going to be something that you see it in college football where the rule is pretty clear cut, and when the refs blow it, you have to be like, what were you looking at? That's targeting, right? Like they made it pretty clear cut, but I don't want to see that in the NFL. I just think that this is big boy football. And I understand you want to protect the players, especially the quarterbacks. And yes, you know when you see it, but there's something unnatural to the game. Look at the rules about tackling already, right? These guys jumping out of the way because they don't want to get fined, or the not dragging the player down from behind. Like you're creating something that's just. You're begging for that rule to be broken, and it's unnatural to the game. And by forcing that in on these players, you could say, Justin, they have to adjust their how they're approaching this. But if it's unnatural, I mean, they could get hurt. Something else could happen. So I don't know that they're good. And the other part of this is offensive and defensive linemen are helmet to helmet on every single play. So maybe that's the foray into eliminating the tush push. I don't know. But how do you protect quarterbacks, but then your offensive linemen who are, if we want to go down that road talking about concussions and CTE and all that, they're the ones that suffer the most in the long run. So, they're in a car crash on every play. I don't know how you eliminate that from the game other than taking the pads off and taking the helmets off, because if you took the helmets off, they wouldn't do it. So maybe they need to go back to leather straps and take these plastic hard pads off and come up with.
You think when they wore leather straps, they didn't hit each other like maniacs then?
I'm sure they did. I read about Teddy Roosevelt and all the stuff that happened at Yale.
So anyway. What I'm talking about is targeting, and it's definitely targeting. It's when you're out there and you take a receiver, you're running full speed across, and you
take a shot at his head,
at his head. That's horrible. Yeah. Listen, and it happens by accident, no question. It happens by accident, but a lot of times it happens not by accident too.
That's the biggest problem. Is you're gonna have. We already think the refs are cooking as it is, especially after that Titans game. But imagine that being a play that decides, a Super Bowl or a playoff game, or whether or not a team wins a division. It's just, I think you're asking for more. Now, unless the rule is clear cut, like it is in college football, then maybe. But I'm just not a fan of seeing that in the NFL. I understand the logic, though.
Thank you. So, and the other team that would be on my list that I think is in total disarray with just an amazing team because they have great players is Philadelphia.
We've been talking about that all year. They just don't
I
look
know.
like,
I
you
don't
know,
know what to say about them. I think when they play, when push comes to shove in your playoffs, listen, we've seen every team. We've seen Chicago will lose games. We've seen Houston lose games, Texas, whatever. We've seen the Rams lose games. We've seen New England lose games. We've seen every team lose games that we haven't got by. We've seen Denver lose games. And we haven't, you'd be surprised that they lose certain games. But Philadelphia, I think when you're in a playoff game and you know you have to win and your game plan isn't totally about the team that's right in front of you, I don't think they're going to win.
I'll. He didn't want to say it last week, but you could kind of hear it in Jim's voice. We touched on it.
Oh, yeah.
It's coaching. It's the coach. It absolutely is 100% the coach.
I agree.
And I think there's probably some Super Bowl hangover lingering in that locker room amongst the players. I know they went and got Brandon Graham to come back out of retirement to kind of straighten out what was going on the defense and mentor these younger players because they don't have their act together. But that's coaching. If you can't coach that into these guys, if they're uncoachable, you have to be able to be strong enough to set an example somewhere, whether it's benching a guy, trading a guy. But how can you expect the players on the field to be responsible for their actions and act like professionals and play like professionals when the head coach is an absolute clown? So it starts with the coach. It's that simple.
I agree. And I don't think he's going to be able to keep it together. They're going to have a bad playoff loss, and the hinges are going to get him off, and he's going to be on that Monday after the Super Bowl or whatever, where everybody gets fired. Guess what?
Black Monday. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him sent packing. I'm wary of their play calling. Just can't figure out if they're sandbagging us, but I don't think they are.
So here's
and Saquon has been noticeably quiet. He's usually, and I don't mean like a diva, outspoken and saying things. He's just been relatively quiet this season. You're not really hearing any sound bites from him, and
yeah, but
he says all the right things when they ask him if he's frustrated or not getting enough carries or whatever. But there's just something wrong there. And I think it's the head coach.
Saquon doesn't say anything for two reasons. He came there. What happened? They gave him the money and they gave him the ring. Am I going to complain now that we're having a hard time? You gave me the money.
No, he's not one to complain. He's not one to complain. I don't know that he's ever really
I had the best year of any running back in the history of the game.
Yeah. I think maybe we all expected him to have another, terrific campaign this year. And who knows? Maybe he blows up in the playoffs.
I think he thought so too.
Yeah. I know that they're, offensive line issues, but it's not like they forgot how to play.
Right.
The play calling makes me scratch my head sometimes.
Sometimes. So, speaking about that and going back to the Ethan said that Saquon has the Madden curse. I never really thought of that. Ethan, that's a good idea. It always happens, but it isn't like he's playing bad. I don't think they give him the ball. So that's a little bit different. But, I want to go back to something that we didn't cover with Baltimore, and that's what happened to the running back at the end of the game. Why did they bench? I mean, it's like the mystery of mysteries.
Non-existent. I don't get it.
They sat him down. They pulled him out.
Was he hurt?
No, no one said he was
Yeah.
hurt.
He
They said
just
he was resting him or something. That's the time you rest him?
That's absurd.
I know. There's something there. Something happened. No one seems to know. I don't know what to say. By the way, everybody, I really appreciate Ethan and Jeff and others that are all making comments and asking questions. We really love that. It helps guide the conversation. So please do. You can also go to our website. It's stephenjustin.com, and you could go put your address and your email address, and we're going to start sending out emails, starting after the football season and things, and get on our mailing list, and I appreciate it. So thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's what to say. I mean, I know we could go over the scores or whatever and all that stuff, but it seems that there's bigger stories here than just winning and losing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if we want to dig.
Yeah, if you want to dig, right. So I'm gonna, where is this thing? Laughing dumb joke. All right, here's the playoff picture, so let's take a look at it. So the AFC, here's the big thing for me. Denver's in first right now, and they're going to get the bye. Imagine, here's your choice. New England, they could have gotten the bye too. I don't know if it's sold up yet. I think it may be, but their first game, they're going to have to play Houston. That defense is ridiculous. Is that what you want to do?
If you're New England?
Yeah.
New England, I don't think they're afraid to play anybody. I know that defense is tremendous, and that is definitely a defense that's built to go far in the playoffs.
Right.
But offensively, I don't know that they're, they haven't really put it together yet. And I think New England can beat them. We don't really know who New England is. I mean, we know that. I mean, they're 12-3, but they're not. This is not a battle-tested 3-4 year division-winning perennial team. This is brand new. I'm assuming they're going to have staying power, especially in that division. Their 3 losses kind of make you scratch your head. Think, well, is that who they really are? Is it? Their quarterback's playing really well. He's played well all season. There was talk of him at one point, having MVP votes and playing like an MVP.
Right.
I think they're going to be prepared, like we always talk about. They'll have a plan B if things start to go south. They have a running back that's built for cold weather, and they can run the football. They're 2 running backs, really. They'll be able to run the football. They do everything we talk about when it comes to having success in the playoffs. And the Texans, CJ Stroud leaves you kind of, he's not there yet. He's got all the talent. He's got the arm strength. I love Nico Collins on the outside. I don't think they have the running backs that New England has, but New England has been susceptible to giving up big plays on the ground. So, is it who you want to play based on their defense? Probably not. I on the other 4 teams, if I had to play somebody, I think maybe the only other team I wouldn't want to play is Jacksonville.
Buffalo has their moments too. I mean,
Buffalo's beatable.
I think they're all beatable, to be honest. If I had to pick somebody that's the toughest play here, I still think it's Denver. But New England's pretty close. Out of the AFC, New England's pretty close. I mean, listen, Buffalo's like a hockey team. You know, the goalie going to stand on his head. You're going to win the game. If Allen stands on his head and plays one of those games where he's running and doing, anything's possible.
Well, that's
But
just it for Buffalo, right? He has to do that for them to win. There's no plan B. I mean, I know they have a good running back, and
yeah, but
he had
the
an
last
amazing week.
Super Bowl that Kansas City won, you could say that thing was true too. You had to have the quarterback in Kansas City stand on his head. You had to have Mahomes do that for them to win. They won all year like that and were able to
Yeah,
get in.
Buffalo is they can't find themselves in the position where they have to have him standing on his head to win these games. But he's incredible. He can make plays where other guys can't because of his size and his
'Cause-
speed.
right?
But they don't outside of him and the running back. They have 3 tight ends on that team that are more valuable than their wide receivers. Their wide
Right.
receivers are almost virtually non-existent every week. They have
And that-
talent, but they're just they don't throw the ball the way you would expect them to throw the ball.
I think the best teams are Denver number 1. I think Jacksonville number 2. I think they're very close to New England as the number 2, 3. Buffalo next. I think the Chargers can beat most people too on any given day. I really do. I think they're well coached. I think they got a lot of heart. I mean, Pittsburgh. I don't believe they're making the playoffs, but they are. But who knows the last couple of games?
I
mean,
think Pittsburgh is just fool's gold.
yeah, I agree.
They're playing in a division that isn't very good as far as I'm concerned. There isn't one defense in that division that's worth its salt. Pittsburgh gives up a lot of plays on the ground. For a Pittsburgh
Right.
defense, they're not a traditional Pittsburgh defense. The quarterback is old. I know he can still play, and they look like world beaters. But who did they beat? That impresses you, right? So I don't see that. Can they beat Los Angeles? Sure. Can Los Angeles beat them? Absolutely. So we'll see.
So look at the NFC for a minute. So Seattle, after that win the other night, puts himself in the first seed.
That was the most significant Thursday night game of all time. It was an incredible. I mean, Los Angeles went from the 1 seed and the division or conference champion, top seed, to the 5 seed.
Right.
That's an incredible drop. And now at 5, they're going to have to go on the road again. I mean, they're battle tested. They've been on the road all year. They played in Germany or London or whatever, right? They stayed on the East Coast before their trip. They came back. They went back to who did they play down south? They played somebody back again. They've been traveling all year. I don't think they're tired. I don't think they're hurt. I know Devontae Adams is out, and that's a huge loss for that offense, but Nakua is still incredible, and you have probably the best quarterback in the league in Matthew Stafford, who just his numbers are incredible, all things considered. But my biggest question for the Rams would be how consistent their defense is. And they're going to have to go on the road to Carolina. And I know Carolina's only what are they, a 500 team? That division is not really great. They have a tremendous run game. For all intents and purposes, the Rams should win that game. But what an incredible loss! And the way they lost. I mean, everything's going your way, and you think you win this game, and you can kind of coast the last 2 weeks of the season. Not that you don't play to win, but you have an incredible leg up because Seattle couldn't afford to lose that game because they don't have the tiebreaker if they lose that game.
Right.
And that's why they went for 2, right? There was no, so just an incredible chess match that night to finish that game. They go for 2 because if they tie, they don't have the tiebreaker. And I don't know if they mentioned that in the broadcast or not, but I was certainly at the bar. Everybody's like, "Oh, they can't go." I'm like, "You got to go for two. You play to win the game. You go for two here. This is what you want. If you're not prepared for this moment, forget about whether or not I'm rooting for the Rams or I think that they should whatever. If you're Seattle, you have to go for two here because that's your season, and this is your chance to lock up not only the division but the conference and have a home field advantage throughout. You have to go for two, and everybody at the bar except one guy disagreed, and afterwards like, oh yeah, I guess that was the right call. It's the right call whether they make it or not,
Right.
right? They go from being
Absolutely.
the one seed in the first round bye and home field throughout to either a fifth or sixth seed or whatever. I guess they would have been the fifth seed based on
It's
how
it's
this
not
played out.
like you're going to run out of time anyway, and you were going to end up being a tie. So you're only
Right.
you're risking a half a game is what you're risking. And
That's my point about overtime,
right.
right? Like if there's no overtime in the regular season, you go for two at the end of regulation to win the game. Why take your chances in overtime? That's why I'm not a fan of overtime, but that's exactly how it would play out. Go for two, get the win.
So when I look at the tough teams in the NFC, I look at Seattle. Obviously, they're battle tested now. I look at Chicago and the Rams. I think the Rams are undervalued because they've lost some tight games. But I think those are the three teams that I would really say.
Seattle, the Rams, and who else?
Chicago.
Yeah, I still think Chicago is going to be playing whoever it is in the championship game.
I mean,
do not believe
think right. I believe in the
Green Bay.
Chicago and who? How could you believe in Green Bay?
Kind of ironic though that they're going to play Green Bay again. That'll be the third time they play each other,
right?
This year.
But
and that is some matchup because they hate each other.
I think what's going to happen is, Chicago's going to have the games of their career. They're going to step up to that next level with all this on the line, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I'll be shocked if anybody can beat them besides LA.
The Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just don't trust the Bears defense. I don't. What's that?
It's got some weak points.
Yeah, they give up a lot of yards on the ground. They haven't played. They've been in some games this year where they're just incredible shootouts. I mean, they were down by 2 touchdowns to the Giants, weren't they? So their offense is clicking. I just think that'll be what bites them in the rear end in the playoffs. And where it's going to come from, I don't know. If they win, I think they will beat Green Bay. And then they'll end up playing. Did they reseed? I don't remember if they reseed. Did they reseed? I don't think it'll matter. But
so, I mean, I think that's what I think. I know tonight. Who's what? San Francisco and who tonight?
I don't know. Forgot all about Monday Night Football.
Colts.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I didn't remember because.
Boy, I'll tell you, when we were talking week 8, and I said that I think the second half of the season is going to be very different from the first half. I did not have the Colts missing the playoffs on my bingo card.
Me either.
It's incredible what happened to that team. It's really unfortunate because it would have been nice to see Daniel Jones in a playoff game. Unfortunately, that didn't work out for them. So,
listen, 1990 doesn't come around that often where the Giants lose their starting quarterback and Jeff Hostetler takes them to the Super Bowl. I mean, that doesn't happen.
Well, it's not going to happen because teams don't have the ability to cultivate quarterbacks as it is, and at the same time have 2 capable quarterbacks on the roster. Right. It's not today's football.
And don't forget, in my humble opinion, and I watched a lot of them, I mean, Phil Simms really played above his pay grade, like other players too. Like you never thought he had the talent and ability to win like he did. And he did. He played tough. And
Yeah.
Hostetler come in and stepped up. And he went other places. He didn't succeed. He needed that rest of that
Well, he
amazing
went to
team they had.
yeah.
I mean, that was some team. And even in 90, you still
Well,
had great
he went to
players.
the Raiders and became a gunslinger because that's what Al
Right.
Davis wanted, and
Correct.
he thought he could catch lightning in a bottle. So
Well,
yeah,
they
this
made him.
playoff picture is this is a tough playoff to decide for sure. I
I
mean,
mean,
it's
there's
wide open.
still teams in the hunt, and there may be some changes, but you know that's basically where we're at the minute. I could kill this. We don't have to keep looking at this.
I would love to see Jacksonville get to the playoffs. I
Yeah,
mean,
so would
get to
I.
the Super Bowl. That would be something.
So
Just one more team that'll go to the Super Bowl before the Jets sniff the playoffs.
yeah. What else? What else? What else didn't we cover? I
The
mean,
Mets made another trade. If you want to go
yeah.
back to our word of the day,
Word
baseball.
of the day, baseball. Where is that?
They traded Jeff McNeil for a bag of rocks and some salt for the driveway. They got a baseball
Baseball.
for baseball
Baseball.
baseball
Baseball.
baseball
Baseball.
baseball
Baseball.
baseball
Baseball. Baseball.
baseball
Baseball. Baseball.
baseball.
So now
That's
now
great.
we're talking about baseball. I
They traded McNeil. Obviously, they have something that they got. I mean, their core players are all gone. Nimmo, Pete Alonso, McNeil, all life Mets. They're all gone.
So look at it this way. The owner of the team is a businessman. He wanted to get the casino. That was why he bought the team. It was a lily pad that, as a frog as he is, he could jump to the next lily pad. So he bought the team, spent the money, put players in there. They weren't that competitive, but let's built the team. Gave the image that, he was going to risk everything to try to build that team, much to everyone's dismay, the other owners. What does he do? As soon as he gets the contract to build the casino, he sells off the team. I need money to do other stuff now. And you know what it costs to build a casino. It costs a fortune.
That would be an absolute nightmare for the Mets fan base if it plays out that way. If he sells the team,
I don't know if he sells it. I don't know if he can sell it. I think it'll keep it. Maybe he'll sell half of it or a third of it. I mean,
yeah.
and
I know that they're talking about them moving on with younger players like Beatty and Francisco Alvarez. And I saw a report last week that they stole or are in the process of taking one of the Yankee shortstop's prospects away from them. I guess this kid, Wandy, I don't know how to say his last name.
whatever.
Azajan opted out of his contract with the Yankees and is reportedly will sign with the Mets. It's just a prospect, but they're clearly looking to get younger. But with that comes spending less money right now, and some say that is the Soto effect with this kid jumping ship from the Yankees to the Mets. Who knows? But they lost their closer. They lost their probably best franchise player, top 3 franchise player ever in Alonso. I mean, they just let him sign somewhere else. They didn't even make him an offer, which is just it's egregious. This guy's got the 3rd most home runs in baseball since he came into the league. So I question what's happening there. If you're a Met fan, you can't possibly be drinking the orange Kool-Aid right now and thinking that this is anything good. It just doesn't look good.
I don't know what to say.
And the Dodgers, again, getting everything and anything they want. They signed the best closer in baseball. And it looks very much like this is all I don't want to use the C word, but it seems like these teams are preparing themselves for a work stoppage, and they're doing everything they can to give themselves the most leverage so that they don't get hurt if they do have a roster. Like, what do the Dodgers care? They already won 2 back-to-back World Series. So if there's a work stoppage next year, or whenever they're talking about work stoppage 2027, what do they care, right? They made their money. They got their championships. If they have to pay payroll, whatever, it's not going to hurt them. They clearly don't care about the luxury tax. So, when you hear someone like when you hear the Yankees owner say, "We need a salary cap," there's a problem. It's a different era. It's a different league. Change is coming. Whatever you want to say, but this all looks like it's orchestrated. And the Mets and Major League Baseball, someone should be looking at this, an outside entity. Major League Baseball knew that this guy wanted the casino. There was a talk about how they weren't going to let him buy a team in Major League Baseball. They weren't going to let him buy the Mets because the guy is a criminal and he had a checkered past in terms of his, fortune. I don't ever begrudge anybody their money, but when ill-gotten gains is ill-gotten gains.
Right.
And, a lot of people said that would be bad for baseball. And I think they thought it was going to go the other way, that he was going to spend. And basically Major League Baseball is like, all right, we'll give you your casino. And I'm going to assume that they're going to share in some revenue from that. Otherwise, they wouldn't have let this happen. That's what it looks like to me anyway. So
I don't think they will.
Yeah, well, I mean, he joined a criminal organization, so they're in it together. So
all I can say is what I say all the time, and that is, look at the commissioner. You expect anybody to straighten out what's going on there? Look
Zero
at
chance.
the commissioner. Zero chance.
Negative
zero. 0.0. It's no way. The commissioner lets everything happen what the owners do. It's horrible. There's not even they don't even fake it. So, all right. Well, pretty soon we're going to have to start talking about basketball and hockey a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll have another guest on. We're going to bring in Keith Spillett, who's got the Tyranny of Tradition website, and he incredible basketball mind. He's part of the American Basketball Hall of Fame, not the NBA Hall of Fame. I think it's called the American Basketball Hall of Fame. He's been working with them for a couple of years now, so we'll get him in probably after the new year. We'll talk basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there a bye week? Is there a bye week between the Super Bowl?
They have the All-Star break in February, don't they? Basketball.
Well, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about football. Is there a bye week before the Super Bowl? Or
yes.
Does it go right in? Why don't we plan him for that week when we're in a bye week?
Okay.
Like right after.
I'll talk to him.
Right after we'll talk, and maybe we'll do a Super Bowl show too. Maybe we'll do a double banger that week.
Maybe we should go to the Super Bowl.
Go ahead. I'll be here when you get back. Where is it this year?
I've never been.
I've never been either. Where I almost went in '86. Almost everybody in my office had tickets but me.
Oh wow!
So,
that would have been incredible.
My friend I worked
Pasadena.
with, my friend I worked with, father was a commissioner of the Meadowlands. So, I mean, father-in-law, and head of sports and gaming for the state of New Jersey. So, yeah. Anyway, I think we about covered it. We got great input. I didn't read some of the stuff that came in, but great input. Big audience that really, and I thank everybody for talking to us and helping moving the show along. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to publish, I think, those couple of shorts on YouTube. I think they're funny enough. We love doing this show. We're going to do it all year long. Well, I don't know how we find time to do it at the same time every Monday, but we always do. And there you have it. There it is. Thanks, Justin. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas to you.
Oh, Merry
and all our
Christmas to
fans
you.
and listeners.
I may see you before then, but
Yes, I hope to.
where is this thing I'm looking for? There it is. All right. See you guys. I appreciate everybody. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.